Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, we go to let pop culture lair.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to an abbreviated Midnight Express. Got totally caught up on what I was doing earlier tonight. Wasn't going to do a stream, but I'm like, it's probably going to be about a 30-minute stream. Who knows? Just getting ready for the weekend. As we get closer to the holidays, the weekends are, going to be a lot more important because even the people who have kind of been avoiding Vegas for a little bit, they tend to come around the holidays. Plus, there's conventions and stuff. You have national finals, rodeos. Just a lot of stuff compacted. You got Halloween next week. And wow, we're already done with October. I mean, damn, it just went. And then, obviously we'll be having our celebration on November 1st. I think it's November 1st, which is we get our hour back. Our stolen hour. And before we get any further, happy birthday, Clint. Clint has completed another trip around the sun. We will be doing Howard the Duck on Saturday. I was going to try to do it tomorrow or later on tonight, but I might be trying to go see Frankenstein tonight. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to wrap up for. And if I don't see it tonight, I'm going to see it tomorrow night. After, depending on, the World Series situation, because I'm going to be watching game 1 of the World Series. So, because my Dodgers are there to defend their title. So, so the schedule is going to be kind of wacky, but I know Saturday for sure. Also, if you guys, there's anybody who wants to get their own watch on party, the link should be in the description. If not, I will go ahead and give it to you right now. There it is. There you go. Bam. Okay. How is my favorite koala doing? I got to the duck first. Beat Clint to it. William, I know you wanted a theme project or subject in a future stream, and since it's Halloween, yeah, we're gonna do some monster stuff. Probably gonna do. I'm thinking a Universal Monster type of show too. Maybe tomorrow night. Hold on for a second. Yeah, Universal Monsters favorite. I know we've done favorite vampire movies, but we can do those shows over again because we only covered so many, and depending on how you're feeling on any given time when we do one of these list shows, your list could change. I finished Absolute Superman. Now I've just started Absolute Batman. Oh, you went first. Oh, so you started with Absolute Wonder Woman and then went to Superman. I went the other way around. Kind of reminds me of Gotham as in Bruce knowing something at a young age. Oh, you had to ruin it. Hello, Bill. My favorite F-bomb factory. And yeah, there you go. Quick. Guess what the F stands for, ladies and gentlemen? Mariners. What's going on with the Mariners? Yeah, they messed things up, man. They choked the other night. I don't know why the manager switched the pitcher and let him throw to George Springer. 3-1 home run. Ended up losing the series by 1 game. Now my Dodgers had to get on a plane and go to Canada, which is fine. Neither the Mariners or the Blue Jays, I think, are beating the Dodgers as long as the Dodgers execute. Obviously, the Dodgers can explode and then can have an upset. But if the Dodgers have done these last 10 games of the first 10 games of the playoffs, then I don't see them getting beat anytime, anywhere by anyone. Yeah, it would have been nice to see the World Series start in LA, but it'll end in LA. That's fine with me. What time do you want to do it on Saturday? I mean, it's your birthday stream, so just tell me when you want to do it, and I'll make time for it. All right, tonight's show and all of our shows really are brought to you by Trauma Now. First month is free. After that, it's $4.99. If you're into science fiction, horror, fantasy, those, independent cinema, over the top films, then Trauma Now. It has a lot more than just Trauma on there, by the way. Trauma Now he actually, Lloyd and Trauma actually, pick up other indie films and distribute them. So when you're supporting Trauma Now, you're actually supporting independent filmmaking. So, hello, Fourth. Hello, Hosea. How are you doing? All shows are brought to you by the Duck. All right, let's see what we got here. Nothing really too exciting. I mean, there wasn't really much merger. I mean, people are shitting in their pants over the whole Netflix thing. I think that's a false weather balloon. And even if they were to do it, it's going to be after the company splits up. But nothing new on that front, thank God, because I was tired of talking about it. Brad just texted me. Bet he's going some kind of test tomorrow, so he won't be around. All right. Hey, how come you don't do your watch parties on Saturday? I'm usually never available on Sundays. Yeah, they are, and I would prefer one of those two. To be honest with you, preferably Apple, not an Amazon, because you already have Universal. I mean, you're not Universal, but MGM with them. But preferably, but those would be two of the more preferred ones. My thing is why now? I mean, they could have done this still. There's no amount of money. Amazon's not going to be outbid by Ellison. And they, Paramount has a lot of money. They can outbid everybody else down, but they are not going to outbid those two. And those two could have had it, at any time. So I don't know. My ideal thing would be Apple, for Apple to have it. I would be fine with Apple. Now, not at this stage in the game, Aaron. You're fine where you're at. It's just I read them in the way that they came out. So I read Absolute Batman was the first one, and then Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman, and they all came out within a month of each other. So I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to wait a long time for one to come out. So no. But if you are getting into them, you're fine because they have not started the crossover yet, and they don't have a combined storyline in the Absolute universe yet to where you have to be in sequence. So you're fine wherever you started. Yeah, and they'll probably make a fourth and fifth bid. That's how these things go, though. That's not going to be anything new. I think they're overpaying for the company, so that's what tells me that a lot of these other ones are probing. Netflix is probing. Comcast is probing. They're not really. You have a company in Skydance that's about to overpay for this company. I don't know if those other companies really feel like doing it. Not only are you overpaying it, but you're assuming they're dead. So I don't know if other stockholders and other companies are going to be like, I don't know about that. Oh yeah, you guys need to be. I don't know if you guys together is a good combination. That's going to be some. That's the R-rated stream automatically right there. Some of the newer Evil Dead stuff I've been into. Some of it I've not been into. I'm going to give the new Evil Dead a chance. I don't consider Evil Dead that type of zombie stuff, even though technically it's zombies. I've always considered that something in its own category, even as a kid when I first saw the first one. And I saw Evil Dead 2 in the movies. I've always considered Evil Dead in a different type of category than just a regular standard zombie movie. The ones that turned me off, Evil Dead really never turned me off. There are certain, versions of it that are better. I wasn't the biggest fan of the remake. I was not a fan of the remake. So it just didn't have the feel that the original had. And to be honest with you, even though it was a higher production value movie, there was just a feel that first and that second one had that, just that other ones didn't do it. I wish I could see these bids happen online somewhere. Well, a lot of times it's just it's an email, it's a phone call, it's a proposal. There's probably a middleman. Yeah, there's a couple of different ones. You have Evil Dead Rise, you have Evil Dead the two. I think it was 2013 when that movie came out. Jose, a rumor is that Netflix buys Warner Brothers. They'll keep Warner Brothers as their theatrical release pipeline and keep Netflix as a streaming pipeline. Could work devil's advocate. They might do that. It's a 50-50. They might, I don't see Netflix buying it because it's just not. The only thing that will be worth something to them is the raw IPs. That's really, because they could funnel those through Netflix itself. I don't see Netflix dealing with the hassle, but who knows? I think Netflix is probing. I think Netflix is trying to feel the whole situation out. I think they're just doing, all these companies are doing their due diligence, but I think that Paramount is the one that actually wants the company the most, as evidenced by them really overpaying. I think the third offer was $24 a share. What's WBD stock at? So it's $20.53. And they're, Paramount has made a couple bids way over the actual stock price. So somebody in Warner Brothers is like, well, we think we're going to be, our stock's going to go even higher than that. So that's where they're at. There's other zombie stuff. I mean, I watched the Last Train to Busan. I haven't seen the sequel yet. I think I don't know if it's out yet, but I saw that. There are certain ones that I'll give a chance to, but it's just the genre itself. When it comes to zombies, it's got to be really, really good. A lot of the zombie stuff I've watched in the last 10 years has been foreign stuff. It has not been. I think I might just be tired of the American zombie market, because there's a lot of stuff that when even once I got burnt down in the early 2000s of zombies that I was watching in the 2010s that were like Horde. I mean, there's French stuff out there. There's some Filipino zombie, but there's a lot of zombie movies out there and they're all done differently. But the American zombie genre, by the time all those movies started popping, I was just already burnt out about them. How much do you think of WB 40? Well, there's a lot of things you have to consider as a factor when you ask that. You have the IPs that I can't put a dollar amount on them because and if they're used right, they could be worth more than anything. But you also have the debt that you have to assume because that gets paid off automatically when it's sell. And potential earnings. I mean, right now it sits at about a $40 billion company, but it's worth what somebody's going to pay for it. If you look at the offer that Paramount has made, it's in the $56-57 billion area. So I guess I'd have to go with that number. Netflix goes theatrical to a WB purchase. I fear the movies are not based on IP Netflix originals. Well, if they go through WB as a purpose, they would just leave them in there. I don't think they know that's not what they do. They probably just leave Abby and DeLuca there because of the fact that's literally not what they do. If they were going to just not farm it out for IPs, if they're going to farm it out for IPs, then they get rid of everybody because they just need the intellectual property. But no, I don't think they would attempt to try to make Netflix level movies. If they were going to keep the theatrical ring open, they would probably leave those people in place because those people would add value to the funnel that goes into Netflix once it's done with theatrical and physical media. So no, I don't think you'd have to worry about that. John Campea said something like that too, because Netflix movies for the most part are trash, but at the same time, they know that if they were to purchase the studio wing of Warner Brothers, I don't think they would be involved in that. They would just basically shuffle all those IPs. They put them in theaters, and you're not getting a long theatrical window. If Netflix did do that, you're getting 25, 30 days, and then it's on its way to Netflix. But I think they would let the Warner Brothers people handle the actual Warner Brothers studio stuff. Now, when it comes to DC and IPs, things like that, who knows what plan they have on that, but they might do the same thing with that too. Yeah, that's what I found because it's a different premise. I think America has a market on when it comes to vampire movies, although there are some European vampire movies that are really cool. But when it comes to zombie movies, for me, the Italians, Spain has always put out some good ones. Korea puts out good ones. Tokyo puts out some good ones. It's just they all use different premises. So yeah. Let's see. Well, Walking Dead to me wasn't that good a show to begin with. And to be honest with you, the comic bored me, so I wasn't really on board with that. Yes, I've heard this. I have not seen it, but I've heard this. How you doing, Azteca? It should have stopped halfway through the original show, to be honest with you. I kind of addressed that a couple lines up. I don't know, but right now they're just waiting on the counteroffer. That's really all I know. I think a lot of this is just posturing. A lot of it's bullshit that's getting people all amped up, but it's really nothing. Z Nation, I thought that was all right. But by the time a lot of this stuff is just standard fare. The whole, especially the origin of the zombies. It's like, and they're not bad movies. And I'm not knocking anybody who likes the zombie genre. It's just that the whole zombie infected genre, there just was so much of it. It just turned me off. I may revisit some of these movies years down the line, but right now, as they were coming out, if you had zombies in your movie, that was usually when I was just gonna go try to find something else to watch. All right, we've been on there for about. This is going to be a brief stream, guys. This is like I said. I just wanted to say hi. I got done way later than I wanted. I was anticipating when it came to other stuff. So, I thought both of those guys. I mean, of course, that's Freddie Krueger. I thought Robert Englund already had his. I was thinking a lot of times when they bring up these so and so's getting there walking the Hall of Fame, I'm like, dude, didn't you don't have one already? Fuck. I know it's a long process and it's pretty expensive. It's not cheap. It's not free. But damn, some of these people I thought just had this shit. It's not. Yeah, the whole inspection, with apocalypse, and I also got tired of apocalyptic movies too. I mean, you could say Blade Runner is a post-apocalyptic, but I see that more of the apocalypse. It was like a slow moving, degradation, other than nuclear, or disease broke out one day and everybody's zombies and stuff. So, Ludicrous, somebody paid the $20,000 to have it done. You got to pay for that shit. Somebody has to pay for it and sponsor it. I think they continue. It's a monthly, not a monthly, but some kind of regular fee too, because they have to maintain it. Those stars get maintained. And that's why I say some of these people that are like stars that I know, I'm like, you didn't have one already? It's like, damn. Yeah, I think it's like $20,000. I gotta Google or look up the process. There is a process of it. When people get them, and like I said, most of the people who are getting them these days, I'm like, damn, I thought you already had a star. Mm-hmm. It's $30,000. Like I said, so yeah. There you go. Bone Temple, yeah, pass. I have not seen the last one. 28 years later, I have not seen it. Yeah, he's massive. He's like about 6'6", 6'7". He's huge. But his body developed under different circumstances in this universe than they did. Yeah, he's massive, and that just lets you know how big Bane is. Because Bane's like 10 feet tall. It looks like every time they have Bane and him, he's picking Bane up. Or Bane is picking him up like he's like a little tiny cracker or some shit. All right, we got about 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Get ready for the weekend. What outside of a CBM when I greenlight? Well, like a lot of science fiction horror. I mean, alien movies. I'm getting, cyberpunk. I love cyberpunk type movies, futuristic movies, horror movies based in space. Serial killer movies are some of my favorites. So I mean, yeah, those would be the genres right there. I'd probably do those more so than in comic book movies because there's only so many comic book movies out there. What's up? Like what am I talking about? I didn't really have a topic today. I was just here. Anything in particular do you want to know what I'm talking about, or does Bob Kane have one? See, I don't even know. I have to look up. I'll look up any of this stuff. No, I hate 90s comic book animation. Animation in general, I don't have any real issue with. I understand why a lot of studios like Warner Brothers cut it out for a while because it wasn't making them any money, and it hasn't been making Warner Brothers money for over a quarter of a century. And people mistake that with hatred for animation, but no. The only animation I really don't have any time for, and it basically comes down to two IPs: Batman and X-Men, and that's literally the 90s. The newer stuff I don't have any problem with. Some of it's good, some of it's not, but it doesn't have the type of influence, the undue influence that those things had in the 90s. So no. Yeah, I figured Bob Kane would have his star. Yeah, I actually saw Killer Clowns in the movies at a drive-in, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a classic. It's stupid, but it was the 80s. For the 80s, it was really good. I mean, watching it in retrospect, it's silly. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space is hilarious. I watched that as a kid at a drive-in, as a matter of fact. It's actually Clowns with a K, isn't it? Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You got to give Cyberpunk Edge Runners a try. Save the game. Which tank don't release? Is that a movie or a game? Or both? Keanu Reeves and William Shatner both have star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Canada's Walk of Fame in Toronto. Okay. Well, Bill William Shatner, yeah, of course. I am aware of Dragon Ball Z, but I am not into Dragon Ball Z. I think don't Superman, Batman, Spider don't those characters have a star? Because I think Marvel and DC paid for that. I don't know about Cavill. I mean, I don't think he has a star yet, but I think Superman in general has a star already. Oh yeah, I'm saying about speaking of zombie. Would you say The Last of Us was a fresh new take, even though it was pretty much up? Yeah, because that's character driven. That was more character driven, and the caveat of her being immune. Um, but even that, to a certain point, like the second season, I tapped out of the second season. I tapped out of the second season. The second season just didn't do it for me. First season was great. Second season, I just couldn't. I just couldn't stick with it. So it got to a point where, because that was character driven, I gave it a little bit more time. But once I was like maybe a quarter way through the second season, it just wasn't doing it for me. So. Cyberpunk. Let me email myself about that. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Okay. Absolutely not. I want the Matrix. It's done. It's done. And the Matrix had its time. It caught lightning in a bottle, and that was it. We had a good time when it was relevant. No more Matrix movies. Um, I don't know if there will ever be a time for it to do another Matrix movie, because where we were at, we'll never be there again. So I don't know. I don't know if another one. That's what was so painful to watch with Resurrection. It was so painful. It was because it was like you're trying to fit into your old clothes that you fit in like freshman year in high school. It's just time and place, guys. Spider-Man wins in about 5 minutes. Spider-Man's a superhuman. A Nightwing is a very skilled combatant, but Spider-Man can dodge bullets. He can move. He's reflexes. He has 10 tons of lifting strength. No, it would be unless Nightwing, like, well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. National depends on who's writing it, because if it's a DC guy writing it, then all of a sudden Dick Grayson has some capsules that makes it so that Spider-Man can't stick to walls or shuts off his spider. It's what the Hobgoblin did. So it depends on who. If it's a head-up physical battle, no. But if it's one of those let me write around stuff battles, and then Nightwing would have a chance just based on that. Yeah, Resurrection was a horrible movie that was a lost cause at the concept. Yeah, 1999 to 2003, there was just a special time for society where the Matrix just fit right there. And once you got out of that bubble, out of that window, it wasn't relevant anymore. All right, guys, we got about 5 more minutes, then I'll wrap it. Do-do-do. Fourth of the things Matrix. It's done. You can feel when something is done. You can't make more of what it was. I'd say take the horror route of the Matrix, like a paranormal. I mean, maybe, but that's not what the Matrix was, though. I mean, I don't think that's what the appeal of the Matrix was. And you could take that's a good idea what you just put out, but I don't know if that's why you. If you're gonna do that, you may as well just make something else new. That's what I've always said. So. Some films don't need reboot or continuation. This is Taylor Anthony, but that's it. Or Ridley Scott Taylor. Yeah, Ridley Scott Taylor story. I think I don't know if it'll get its own dedicated movies, but because he's working with the producers of the new movies, I think we're going to get that story. Like, I mean, I think you're going to get an answer to the questions that Prometheus put out there. Williams, MCU pulling a cop out by using the multiverse to bring everybody back. No, it's what they've always done. It's what they've always done. They always use, they're not all these people that are brought back are going to stay. Most of the nostalgia bait people that you see are going to either get killed or they're going to cease to exist. So this what it allows them to go forward with different versions of those characters. But that's what Marvel's done for decades. That they're unlike DC. Marvel uses the multiverse as a plot device, whereas it's a discipline in DC. William, what would you say about things like comics Daredevil knocking out Wolverine? It seems pretty. What would you say about things in the comics like Daredevil knocking out Wolverine? It seems pretty far for Daredevil to even attempt. No, because he can do. Daredevil's going to know all the pressure points. He can subdue Wolverine. He has. I mean, Wolverine has the edge, and almost killed him one time. But as far as like hitting him. It's probably going to break his hand because he's got an adamantium skull, but at the same time, there are nerves and issues, all throughout the body that he could take advantage of. So, yeah, some people liked it. Not very many, but I that movie was really tough to watch. Technically, the Westworld show was kind of like the Matrix, with cyborgs becoming self-aware. Yeah, and at one time that show was good, but by that fourth season, I was, as somebody who loved that show, Westworld, I was ready for that show to end. Oh yeah, cool. I got one from Galaxy I didn't use, but I thought Marvel Thunderbolts was the best comic book movie of the year. All right, guys, that's where I'm going to wrap it up. It's about 35 minutes. Thank you guys for sorry, Film Psychic. I'm on my way out. But hi, anyway, though, thank you guys for joining me for this little brief interlude. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. Or actually, tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to give this early afternoon Friday stream a shot. Keep an eye on your alert bell to see when that's happening. Still undecided on whether I'm going to do a Saturday overnighter show. Who knows? But I wanted to give this mid-afternoon slot a chance. So we'll be doing that on Friday. So yeah, I am excited for Anna Lanterns as well. No, I'm just tired in general. She stays up to the same hours as I do, but I also got some other stuff to do. So, all right, guys, have a nice night. Enjoy Thursday for what it is, and I will see you at some point in the next 48 hours. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Bye.